Hello and welcome to HCTV, a Cheltenham Special for the Weekend Insider. Today we're joined by our resident racing expert Ian on the back of a nice 5-1 win on Saturday that was predicted last week. So that's keeping the trend going for some winners. We're also delighted to be joined by Ronan, who is from over the Irish Sea. So it can't be Cheltenham without an Irish specialist on here. Ronan, you run your own page, don't you? A sports tipping page. Tell us a little bit about that, mate.
Yeah, I do indeed. Obviously, keen racing enthusiast myself. My friends have always asked me for my tips every week, so I thought, why not just make a Facebook page to be able to do this interactively and get as many people involved as possible. I go under the name of Lucky Pants Sports Tips.
Have you got your lucky pants on today, mate?
I hope so. Anyway, they're ready to go for this week.
Good man. Okay, look, now I've not put subtitles on this. You are Irish, but I've not put subtitles on. Do you think that's going to be an issue?
Yeah, you might need the subtitles on for your English viewers.
I haven't got a clue what he's just been talking about.
Just said something like, so it is. Like Jim McDonald. So this year, lads, obviously it's going to be a very, very strange Cheltenham this year. Last year we kind of just got it in there, didn't we? Before lockdown and all that. What would your normal Cheltenham plans be? Would you be going? Would you go abroad, or would you just sit at home, or what?
For me, I go every year. I think we've discussed that before, Chris.
Yeah. I
think last year was my 21st Cheltenham. I think there was the foot and
How many do you remember?
just last year. I think foot and mouth in about 2001. I think it was, maybe a bit later. Obviously, Cheltenham was cancelled for that. Managed to squeeze in last year, but it used to start off with just going down. Everyone gets sucked into Gold Cup Day thinking it's the best, but you quickly realise that it's not the best racing at all on the Friday. It's probably the worst day for the actual standard of the racing. So normally I go down first half of the week, Tuesday to Thursday, and watch it in a pub back home on the Friday. No.
Nice, mate. Nice. What about you, Ronan? What's normally your plans?
Yeah, I would normally be there myself as well. Tuesday and Wednesday I would normally watch from home, but then head across the Irish Sea on Wednesday evening, be there for the Thursday and Friday. I've went the last 2 years. Thursday seems to be a more favourable day. Friday, as Ian said, it's a bit harder to pick your winners. So yeah,
it's harder to get a pint as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think Thursday this year for St Patrick's Day, the Thursday this time, isn't it?
Yeah. Paddy's Day is Wednesday, I think.
Oh, Wednesday.
Oh, is it? Is it Wednesday? Yeah, is it? Right. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. So, I mean, this year we'll all be watching from our own homes. Enjoyment nonetheless. That we'll try and recreate the Cheltenham Roar a little bit from our own in front of our own tellies. I've been having a little look around some of the online bookies. They normally pull up some good offers to kind of entice you in to open a new account. There's quite a lot knocking about, really. A lot of them seem to be offering the same kind of things. Place a £10 bet, £40 worth of free bets and things. 888 Sport are actually looking quite favourable. They're offering quite a lot of different offers, and for each day they look quite good. So if you haven't got an account with them, it might be worth having a quick look. Always have a look at the terms and conditions, though, because some of them don't pay it back. Your free bets as cash. You have to play through them a few times so they get you that way. Just have a little look at that. But the likes of Paddy Power, Betfred, Sky Bet, they're all pretty similar of enticing you in. So have a look at them as well. And each day they have special offers for existing customers as well. So it's well worth shopping around if you've got a few different accounts or looking to open a new account. It's always worth shopping around the market and seeing what there is. If you go onto sites such as Odds Checker and things, they're all listed on there. So moving on to Cheltenham, fellas. Before we get into the actual race, and I know we've selected a couple of races on each day we can have a look at. I was having a little look of overall betting, really. Top trainer, Mullins, 1 to 5. Unsurprisingly, really. Bromhead is his next favourite is 6 to 1, and then Nicky Henderson is 9 to 1. So it's kind of nailed on for Mullins there at 1 to 5. Top jockey, Townend is 1 to 3. You what? Townend, yeah.
Townend, yeah.
Yeah, 1 to 3, and then Jack Kennedy in second favourite at 9 to 2. But I tell you what, I did see, and I saw this with Paddy Power, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, fellas. There's a couple of specials knocking about now. One of them was Mullins for 7 or more winners for the whole festival, and that was 8 to 15. Or for 8 or more winners was 5 to 4.
It's tricky. They know what they're doing there, because the top trainer normally has, do you reckon, Ronan, about 6 top trainer?
Yes, 6, probably 7 max.
Yeah.
You very rarely see 8 or more.
Yeah, so they're not soft. They sort of tempt you in right on the cusp of just trying to get you to take that 5 to 4.
Yeah, that's it. And the other one that I saw again on the specials for the trainers was Bromhead to have 3 or more winners was 8 to 11.
That's not bad, looking at some of the chances he's got over the week.
Well, that's what I thought. I mean, so that might keep you going. Or obviously the odds aren't the best at 8 to 11, but you can maybe get your money back.
It's hardly a working man's bet, though, is it, mate?
Well, no, it's not. It's not. But it's if you're into that kind of stuff and you maybe go into it big or something, then I think that's a nice little bet, me, at 8 to 11 for 3 or more winners. But
got the HC Promotions wheelbarrow full of cash heading towards the booking.
Yeah, something like that, mate. Yeah, more like the bailiffs at the door, I think. So moving on to Cheltenham, fellas. I've had a little look at the ground. Good to soft at the moment as we stand. Do you think that's going to change? Have you had a little look at the weather?
I think the most nailed on bet every year is that the ground's going to be good to soft in places.
Yeah.
The festival normally starts on that.
Yeah, Simon Clace doesn't like it getting good, even if the weather isn't going in that way. I think he would water the track. So
he definitely
I think you're shooting for good to soft.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Okay, fellas, so on to the main events, really. Let's have a little look at the racing. So we've selected, we've gone right through the days. Obviously, we're not going through every single race. We've picked out on the first day three races, and then a few more on days 2, 3, and 4. So I'll kind of hand over to you guys, really, starting on day 1 with the 120 at Cheltenham, the Supreme Novice Hurdle. Now, I do know a lot of bookies are offering money back if it loses your horse this one. So it's a bit of you can either get your day off or your Cheltenham Festival off to an absolute flyer, or you get your money back to put on the second race or whatever. So you're not really losing. So it's a great way to start off. And most bookies are doing that on each day for the first race. So have a little look, make sure your bookie's doing it. So over to you, fellas, the 120, the Supreme Novice Hurdle.
I think that offer's always a very clever one from the bookies, because it tries to divert attention away from whatever's favourite. So you'll probably notice on some of the races where there's a bit of a shoe in. So whether it's Shishkin or whether it's Envoy Allen or whatever, I wouldn't be surprised to see the bookies offer money back if your horse comes second, because they're trying to just offset some of their liabilities and just move people away from those big hot pots. Roland, do you want to start us off on your thoughts for the Supreme then, mate?
Yeah, no problem. I actually really like that offer. I use that offer every year with Skybet. They do money back as actual funds if your horse loses. It doesn't matter where it finishes. So taking that into account, I would probably throw a free dart at maybe Ballyadam. He's around the 5 to 1 mark at the minute. I actually really like the favourite myself, but Ballyadam's form lines are behind the favourite are actually they're looking quite good now. Appreciated beat Ballyadam by around 15 lengths over Christmas, but at that stage the Elliott Yard really weren't running to form. Then in Leopardstown in the Dublin Racing Festival, Ballyadam only finished around 3 lengths behind the favourite Appreciate. So that he's obviously come on quite a bit from that, from between each performance, and I think he'd been gearing up all year for the one race in mind, which is the Supreme Novice. bit of an issue with the change of yard, obviously, with the Elliott saga, but I'm sure Henry de Bromhead will have Ballyadam raring to go. And with the better ground, I think he'll give Appreciated a good race. Looking back at the trends, it's not a great race for favourites, to be honest. I think you have to go back to maybe the days of Duvan, Vatur to see winning favourites in the Supreme Novices. And it's well worth taking on Appreciated, I think, at the prices.
Currently, Ballyadam is, you can get 11-2 at quite a few different bookies.
I think, just picking up on Ronan's point there, the free dart is the way to go if you're going to back Ballyadam. I went through the race myself, and I'm really struggling to get away from Appreciated being a good thing in this. He's £5 clear on ratings. I think Ballyadam's going to be his biggest danger, without a doubt, particularly if he closes that gap again. I think the one thing Appreciated will have in his favour to maybe extend that is the running at Cheltenham and the Cheltenham Hill. And let's not forget, Cheltenham form is huge when it comes to the festival. So Appreciated, having been there and done it, only finished a couple of lengths second in the bumper last year behind Fernie Hollow. I thought Fernie Hollow was going to be a good thing for the Supreme this year, and I actually thought Appreciated might go to the Ballymore over a little bit further. So I've been quite impressed with Appreciated going back to 2 miles, and I just hope Townend keeps it simple, goes from the front, and does struggle to catch him up the hill. I can't see Blue Lord reversing the form. Soaring Glory's got £10 to find on ratings, albeit he won the handicap well the last day, but I can't see him bridging the class gap. And everyone's been talking about Metier, who's second favourite, I think, Chris, 9-2. He's a flatbread.
Yeah, 9-2, yeah.
Yeah, he's a flatbread. He's been running on flat tracks, bit of a speed horse. I just don't think he'll lay a hand on Appreciated, really. So I think you're right. I think there could be a nice forecast to be played there with Appreciated and Ballyadam as well, which could pay quite well. Yeah,
well, Appreciated currently sits at 11-8 and Ballyadam at 11-2. So a nice forecast there. If you fancied that one, that'd be good.
I think that's one of those bets that you'll look back on after the race. The forecast for Appreciated and Ballyadam, given they've come first and second in the last 2 run-ins against each other. I think that was probably nailed on.
I actually fully agree with that. Like, I know I was trying to get Appreciated beat there, but I was more looking for value than anything. And I think the forecast's a great way to go because, as you say, I've been trying to get Appreciated beat all week and for the last few weeks, and Ballyadam's the strongest argument to come up against it. And with the idea of a free dart, that's what I like value-wise. But yeah, I think Appreciated is definitely the most likely winner.
There we go.
Right, lovely. Great stuff, fellas. Nice one for that. The next one we're going to look at is the Arkle at 155 on day one. Small field, this, isn't it?
It's literally just fell apart during the week. When we agreed to do this, it was looking like a great matchup race. And how do you pronounce it? An Ergoname?
An Ergamine, yeah.
An Ergamine has literally been pulled out injured. So it's looking like a bit of an open goal, isn't it, for Shishkin?
Yeah, free kick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shishkin won it last year?
No, so Shishkin won the Supreme last year.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
This is why you said you weren't going to comment, wasn't it, Chris?
Yeah, sorry about that. I'll just stay quiet. I'll just look at my notes. I'll know the winners when they come in.
Ronan, I'd like to know your opinion on this, actually, because, again, I've been looking for an option like betting without or maybe a forecast, or something just to give us a different angle.
Yeah.
Obviously, all mankind's in this race and is going to go off like a scalded cat, like he always does.
Yeah.
There's 2 worst runs he's had, both being at Cheltenham, albeit over hurdles, but, that puts me off him a little bit. Also, I think, from memory, I think his age is against him as well. I think he's one of the younger horses in this. I really like Captain Guinness. I thought he was... are we going to be on the same
just
again?
Because of the name?
No, honestly, he was travelling like a dream in the champion hurdle, and was very unfortunate to get brought down. But it looked like he acted so well on the track. I thought he was travelling well against the Nerganame last time. He was probably never going to beat him.
Yeah.
But out of everything else in the race, he stayed with him until 2 out when he unshipped his rider. I quite like Captain Guinness either without Shishkin, and it's currently 8-1 in the bet. Again, I was thinking possibly another forecast.
10-1 is best price on Captain Guinness at the moment.
What's your thoughts on that, Ronan?
I think that's a really good price, to be honest. I think I would place lay All Mankind, to be honest. I agree with you. I don't think his form really adds up too much, Cheltenham. I think he'll go off at a crazy pace. I think Florian Porter, if he stays in the race, will probably join him, and they might cut each other's necks a bit. And
I think he's out, mate. He's been taken out. Yeah, okay. He's been taken out. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I still think that All Mankind will go off probably too hard. Won't see it out up the hill. Captain Guinness will just sit him behind. It'll probably be Shishkin up along with All Mankind, with Captain Guinness just sitting back a bit. I could see him picking up the pieces and being running. He'll probably be aimed at it to run into a place, and if he wins, all happy days. But yeah, I think he'll be probably running for place money.
I thought the same. What do you think on Franco to Port? I thought Captain Guinness had him beat in the last run, just before he unshipped.
Yeah. I think Captain Guinness is a proper good horse, to be honest, and he was quite unlucky the last day. I don't think he would have caught an Ergamine, but he's definitely a top horse. And to be honest, Shishkin's my banker of day one. I can't see past Shishkin at all. But yeah, for the value spot and maybe a forecast, I'd be all over Captain Guinness.
Great stuff. This is going well so far, Chris. It's almost like we conferred.
Okay, so go on.
I was going to say, for anyone listening, me and Ronan haven't discussed this before the show.
No, we haven't shared notes.
No. That's good then. That's good. Just so Shishkin at the moment is about 8-15, and Captain Guinness is you can get about 10-1 in some places. So again, maybe a nice little forecast bet there, because we're thinking Shishkin will probably win it, but Captain Guinness might give you a good run for your money.
Correct.
Good stuff. Okay, and the third and final race we're going to look at for day one is the 305 Champion Hurdle. Now, I do know Sky Bet are currently paying 4 places in this rather than the 3. So again, it's worth having a little look around, really, see if you can get an extra place anywhere. So, what's your selections, fellas?
Go on, Ronan.
I'm a big fan of the mares here. I love a good mare. We've got 2 absolutely top-class mares here. We've got Honeysuckle and we've got Epatante. Epatante being the defending champion. Honeysuckle being unbeaten Irish star. She was very impressive last time out in the champion hurdle. As patriotic as I am, I'm going to actually go against Honeysuckle here. I actually fancy Epatante. I think she's a big price. She didn't perform to her best over Christmas, which was a bit worrying because she acted up in the prelims. Henderson came out afterwards and said she had back troubles, but Henderson's yard were not in form at all over Christmas, and they haven't really been in form for much of the season. But I think they're starting to peak now at the right time. Epatante, I think, is an absolute class act over the course and distance. Honeysuckle is yet to be proven. I know she won the mares last year, beating Benedict Gill, which was a phenomenal form. But I don't think you could compare like how the race would be run speed wise in the mares race and in the champion hurdle. I think this will be full pelt. If Epatante, I think Epatante will also like the ground. The better ground, I think, will definitely suit her. Honeysuckle might be caught for toe a bit come the end of the race. So yeah, I can't see any of the male horses beating the mares, because the £7 mare allowance is such a big advantage, especially for these top class mares. I think a lot of these mares could actually compete off level weights with the geldings here. So yeah, I actually really like Epatante. You can I think it's 130 best price last I checked. So I think that's really good
Yeah,
value.
just having a little look now. About 7-2. 7-2 most places. Yeah, 100-30 a few places. 7-2 best knocking about, really.
Yeah, I think that's value.
He's talked me out of my selection there, I think. I've been all over Honeysuckle from the word go for this race. I was hoping it'd swerve the mares and go here, mainly because I wanted to see it run in this race and see how it got on against the boys. Because, like you, I think the £7 that these guys get from the Geldens is huge. You only have to see what Annie Power did to them a few years back in the Champion Hurdle. It made a massive difference to the distance it beat them at. I also think, like you, it's going to go lickety-split from the start. So you've got Goshen, who, obviously, there's the fairy tale winner right there. There won't be a dry house, sort of in the Moore family, if that one comes in. It was quite impressive the last day, but you've got to look at the rest of the season with that one. And you can't be putting good money, I don't think, on Goshen to turn up, because you just don't know what's going to happen with it. Silver Streak's probably going to go from the front as well, given how well that ran against Epatante in its last race as well. Given the way that race is going to be run, I actually think it might suit Honeysuckle, who, yeah, you're right, it might get tap for toe a little bit round the bottom bend, but then we know it stays 2 mile 4. And when these start tiring up front, if they tire up front, and that's the question, then you've got to have something at the business end. I think Epatante's got a great turn of foot, and that worries me. I honestly think, given Honeysuckle's profile, I reckon he can stay on the tail of the leaders. And it's going to be an epic final furlong then, isn't it, as they come over the last. Epatante's last run really worries me, and that's what put me towards Honeysuckle on this. And like you said, I'm not entirely convinced Henderson Stable's turned the corner yet. There's so many hit and miss coming out of his stable, and Nico's a bit of a worry as well, let's be honest. I bet you'd sooner have Mark Walsh riding that one in the JP colours than Nico.
Yeah, I think it might be Aidan Coleman on it, is it?
Oh, right, okay. I'm not entirely sure. I know he has ridden it.
Which I would have a lot more confidence if Aidan Coleman was riding, to be honest, than Nico.
Yeah, so would I. It's funny how Nico divides opinion, isn't it? Because I'm convinced he just gets on the best horses and they make him look a bit better than he actually is. I think Shishkin might be shorter in the betting if Nico wasn't riding them as well.
Yeah, he could be a 1-3 shot.
I know. I'm just saying, where are we? Epatante. Yeah, you're right, Aidan Coleman. Aidan Coleman's been jocked up on that one.
That would actually give me even more confidence, to be honest.
Exactly, yeah. Do you think any of the other guys can get in it? Abracadabra, Sharjah, Aspire Tower, Silver Streak? It's a good lineup.
Price. Yeah, I think Sharjah's a massive price now. Is he still around the 14-16 to 1 mark? Best price?
Where are we? 14 to 1 best price, yeah.
I think that's an amazing price. And I know, like, it's recency bias again. His last run, he got hammered by Honeysuckle, an Irish champion. But if you look at before that, he came out and won the Morgiana. He won that well. Yeah, he has a very impressive record at Cheltenham last year.
He was only 3 lengths second to Epatante last year's Champion Hurdle.
Yeah, and I think he actually ran a brilliant race, and he had to come through a lot of trouble. I think if he had went a bit earlier, maybe he might have had a chance of beating Epatante last year. So yeah, I think at the odds each way, Sharjah's definitely overpriced for me.
It's very open, isn't it, mate? It's one of those races where you wouldn't be surprised who wins, because I'm a huge fan of Abracadabras. I think it's a cracking horse, and it's always there or thereabouts, so Abracadabras to reach the frame. In fact, I think it's only ever been out the frame once. Just looking back at its form here, when that ran a cracking race at Cheltenham last year, it just got touched off by Shishkin. Now, if Shishkin was still over hurdles, what price would Shishkin be in this? Abracadabra's running ahead in the Supreme last year. Another one completely overlooked at about 10-1. Yeah, 10-1 best price.
Yeah,
Very
I agree.
open.
I think Abracadabras will travel all over them. He might look the winner from about 2 out, but my concern for Abracadabras, he always seems to get himself beat. Like he doesn't like to get his head in front. So
Yeah.
I think he's probably a good place bet, but I wouldn't back Abracadabras to win.
So there you go, Chris. There's about 6 horses who come in the champion
Yeah.
hurdle.
Yeah, thanks for that. I'm just covering the field. That's why I've been quiet. I've just been covering every horse.
But yeah,
So your main selections there were Honeysuckle 5-2, Evertante at 7-2. Favourite and second favourite, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, sorry, go on.
No, cry on, mate.
All right, okay. Anything else of fancy on day one, or if you can? I know, Ronan, you mentioned Shishkin there was your kind of your main favourite for that day. Anything else standing out for you, Ronan, Ian?
And the Boodles, I actually like Riviere de Tail. I think it's around 11-1. I was doing a trend analysis and came up really favorably on the trends. It seems overpriced, to be honest. The Boodles seems wide open at the minute. And yeah, I think Riviere de Tail will run a big race. Also in the mares, I think Concertista and Roxana will make it a great race. But I think Great White Shark, another horse from the Mullins Yard, is a big each way price. So I think you could get around 14-1 for their Great White Shark. So I think both of them are nice value odds.
16s actually, Great Whites at the
16s,
moment, mate.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, my other standout like value prices on the day would be Riviere de Tail in the Boodles and Great White Shark in the mares.
Nice, some decent prices as well there for a nice little each way or something as well, isn't it? So, okay, fellas, brilliant. Thanks very much. Sorry, go on, Ian.
I've got one I'm going to take on with him in the Boodles, actually. It's the old Fred Winter, isn't it? I really like a horse called Balco Saint in this, which is 20-1. Again, it's a wide open race. You'll probably get 6 places, won't you? I reckon 6 places in the Boodles.
Yeah,
on the likes of Sky Bet, definitely.
Yeah, I think Balco Saint is well worth an each way bet in that at 20s. I'm quite keen on that. And the other one I'll be cheering home is I do like Concertista in the mares. I know it's another favourite, but it'll be interesting to see if Appreciated goes in, then Shishkin goes in, then one of the mares. I think there'll be a lot of 4-timers rolling on Annie Power style into Concertista then. Be interesting to see how that goes. Get the bookies running scared on day one.
Nice, that's what we all hope for, isn't it? Okay, day 2, straight in. First race of the day, the 120, the Ballymore Novices Hurdle, please, fellas.
You can take this one, Ian.
Oh, thanks. First thing on my notes, almost an impossible race to call. I was listening to a little bit of an interview with Jamie Codd. He's all over Bob Ollinger in this. I think his phrase where it's a God-given certainty. And Jamie Codd knows far more than I'll ever know. I think out of all the preview nights and all the tipsters and everything else, Jamie Codd is one I always listen out for because he's very knowledgeable, in my opinion, and he always gives a good rationale behind his selections. So I couldn't put anyone off Bob Ollinger in that. There's Gillard de Mesnil from the, I hope I pronounced that one right, from the Willie Mullen stable. That's second favourite. And Brave Man's Game from the Nichols Yard. These 3 are taking the biggest chunk of the market at the moment. Nichols thinks Brave Man's Game's his best chance of the week. I was really impressed with this the last day, and I genuinely thought it would go on to win a race at Cheltenham or Aintree. They've obviously targeted this. I've always been a big fan of Bob Ollinger as well. I can't really separate them, to be honest. I think it'll be between them two. Not sure. I think I'm going to sit on the fence on this one. One at a bigger price, Bear Grylls, I thought was interesting at around about 12-1.
Yeah. 12s.
I thought Bear Grylls, if you're looking for a price and you get 4 places, Bear Grylls at 12-1. I think he might lead. if he gets a bit of a freebie up front, you never know. But I do think it's between Bob Olinger and Braveman's Game.
Lovely. Okay, it's currently Bob Olinger is 2-1, and Braveman Game best price is about 7-2.
I would fully agree on Bob Olinger. I think it's going to be an absolute cracker of a race. This could be maybe the race of the festival. The top three in the betting look like future superstars potentially. Bob Olinger, Braveman's Game, and Gellert de Menil. Gellert de Menil could end up a typical Mullins hot pot kind of thing. If Mullins is a big day on day one, I could see him getting smashed in the betting on day two. But it's not really for me, to be honest. He beat a lot of staying types in his last race in the Dublin Racing Festival, and I think there might be horses that have a bit more toe in this one. Braveman's Game, Nichols has compared him to Denman, saying he could be the next Denman, but you have to remember that Denman actually got beaten this race.
He did, didn't he?
He came second in this race. So I think Braveman's Game will be a top horse in the future. I think he's a potential chasing superstar to come. But I'm actually all over Bob Olinger here. I seen the preview that the Codfather give as well, and I would agree he's one of the shrewdest judges in racing. He tipped up Lebec a few years ago at 40-1 in the Supreme. He's an absolute genius. This race traditionally has a good record for former point-to-pointers. Bob Olinger is a former Irish point-to-pointer. Has done nothing wrong all season. The one time it got beat was against Fernie Hollow, who won the bumper last year, beaten Appreciated, and was probably the nailed-on favourite for the Supreme. I think if Fernie Hollow had stayed fit this year, I think would have been an odds-on shot for the Supreme. And Bob Olinger, I think, was only 2 or 3 lengths behind him in a really great race at the start of the season, and has improved since then, going on to win the Lullers and Naas. I think Bob Olinger is an absolutely cracking bet. I've been backing him since around Christmas time. I've got some nice prices on him anti-post, but even at the 2-1, it might go off bigger on the day because of the competitive nature of the race. And as I say, Gellert de Menil might be backed in because of if Mullins has a big day on Tuesday. So we might actually get a nice price about Bob Olinger come Wednesday.
I agree with that. I don't think you need to rush in on that. I think the price is going to hold. He also fits all the trends, doesn't he, Bob Olinger? Mm-hmm. He comes out very favourable when you look back at past winners. He's very high. He's, as I say, the Codfather sort of swings it for you, and I think his form stacks up.
Brilliant.
Yeah, he's a great shout, Ronan.
So both in agreement for Bob Olinger at 2-1, and just holding off until the day to see whether the price drifts a little bit. You might get a little bit more for your money. Great stuff. On to the Champion Chase on day 2, 3:05, please.
Got another shorty in Chachampour, and you can't fail to have been impressed with what he's done. I think his last run in particular was really impressive. For me, he's improving all the time. People say he's fragile and, whether he'll come over and he has the right temperament for Cheltenham, blah, blah, blah. I actually don't agree with any of that. I think he looks like a top-class horse. And the fact of the matter is, his races so far this season have been head and shoulders above anything else in the race. It is a good race, having said that, though. You've got... I get another one where I think his price will hold up. I don't think he'll go any shorter because there's some horses in here where I think the punters will latch onto them for old time's sake, like Altior. So I can see Altior coming in and getting backed on the day. When you see Henderson on the telly and he looks like he's got tears in his eyes and he's talking about Altior, and I think Altior's had cheap pieces fitted. So someone will latch onto that, and you'll have someone in the ITV studio all over Altior for whatever reason that they want. That'll show.
Mick Fitzgerald.
Mick Fitz, yeah. Mick Fitz. Any horse from the Henderson stables, Mick Fitz will back.
Yeah.
Politolog will probably come in for some support, given it won the race last year. I think the horse at the moment that's being completely overlooked is First Flow. I think I
Currently
don't fancy.
14-1.
Yeah, I don't fancy it to be Cheltenham Bourgeois, but out of all the others, I mean, he beat Politolog fair and square the last day. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. He'll probably get taken on for the lead by Put the Kettle On, which puts a little fly in the ointment. But from a ratings point of view, he's up there. Cheltenham Bourgeois at 174. He's clear of Altior 169 and Politolog at 168. And then you've got First Flow, who's been improving all season on at 166. They're then clear of some of the other horses in the race. Nubi Negra ran a good race last day. I say Put the Kettle On, loves Cheltenham. But for me, Cheltenham Bourgeois wins and First Flow for an each way pop.
Currently even money, but a lot of the mainstream bookies like your William Hill, Betfred, them kind of people are currently 10-11, 9-10 in a places, 5-6 as well. But you can still get even money on it at Betfair and Paddy Power.
There's a couple, mate. There's a couple. So Monkfish runs earlier in the day, and Monkfish just wins. I don't even think there's a debate in that. So if you fancy Cheltenham Bourgeois, you may as well throw it in a double with Monkfish earlier on in the day. Because if Monkfish stands up, it wins the RSA.
Monkfish currently 4-7.
Yeah, so you throw that in a double with Shakan, and there's your bet then.
I feel like you've taken the words out of my mouth again there.
You'll have to let Ronan go first next time.
yeah, you go first next time, mate.
I seen that there was a 3-1 special on for the Rich Richie double of Monkfish and Cheltenham Bourgeois last week. Got all over it. I think that's an absolute banker. Like this race, the fairy tale story is Altior winning. I would actually love to see that. I've backed Altior from the Supreme Novices right on through. I'm a massive fan of the horse. But
right, do you remember Sprinter Sacra coming back to win at Cheltenham?
Yeah,
that was one of the days. Yeah, that was one. I remember legging it to the parade ring to watch Sprinter Sacra come back in that day. I hadn't even backed it.
Yeah,
I hadn't even backed it, and Altior would be similar.
Yeah, exactly. That for racing, for the things that have gone on recently in racing, that's kind of had a bad name. I think that the fairy tale story would be Altior to go out and regain his crown. I think that would be absolutely amazing. But that's a hard overhead kind of situation. When I'm talking out of my pocket, I think that Cheltenham Bourgeois is by far the banker here. Politolog, the reigning champion, I think took advantage of a weak race last year. Don't rate that form, to be honest, unfortunately. Nubi Negra, I think he's more of a handicapper, maybe.
Yeah, he's just not up to this class, I don't think.
Yeah, First Flow, it was very impressive the last day, but I think he needs softer ground, to be honest. I don't think he'll get the ground soft enough for my liking to bet on him. Put the Kettle On, I think, is actually quite interesting. She's a mare. She loves Cheltenham. Won the Arkle. Won 3. I think she run 3. Big each way price, but my main bet is definitely on Cheltenham Bourgeois, and I would fully agree with the double with Monkfish.
It may be worth holding off and seeing whether the bookies kind of get onto that. And there might be a few specials knocking about on the day for a double with them too. So it could be worth having a little look, because normally each day the bookies will throw up a nice special, won't they, or a boost or something like that. So we could
if something pops up for them to just smash it.
Definitely.
There's your quote.
Right, okay, fancy. And yeah. And the last race we're going to look at on day 2 is the last race of the day is the Champion Bumper at 450 on day 2.
Go on, Ronan.
Well, I feel like I've been back tapping a lot of short odds favourites so far. So in this one, I'm going to go for one with a nice juicy price. It's a Mullins horse, but it's definitely not the favourite, Kilcruit. It's actually a 20-1 shot. Grangie had a rather unusual preparation for this, and a bumper at market raising.
You can get, sorry to interrupt there, Ron, with you can get 25-1 at William Hill currently.
Perfect. I'll get stuck into that each way. Finished second day Eileen Dover at market raising, which was quite an unusual prep for a bumper. But since it's come out and won, and that form has actually been boosted quite a bit, and all my trends, Grangy is actually like very high up, meets most of the key trends. I've been using the Wellerby's Champion Bumper Guide, and Grangy comes out 7 out of 7 in the trends that I was looking at. So I think absolutely cracking price. The Mullins second or third strings normally do very well in the Champion bumper historically, and yeah, I'd be all over Grangy.
Dear me, that'd finish your day off well, wouldn't you, if you came in for a 25-1 winner on the last race of the day? Wow.
I think, do you know what? I agree to a point. I did look at Grangy earlier on when I was going through this race. Obviously, it's been billed as Sir Gerhard versus Kilcruit, and it's the record of the favourites that puts me off both of them. That they're almost joint favourites as we speak. If I was looking at them, I'd be siding with Sir Gerhard all day, to be honest. Yeah. Another one that Jamie Codd thinks very highly of. Obviously, it's just moved from the stable over to Willie Mullins. It's hard to get into the habit of not calling Gordon Elliott stable. It's the Denise Foster stable now. It's something to look. Do you know what? Actually, for anyone who doesn't have a bet all the time, who's very aware of Gordon Elliott, on the listings, it's going to be listed as Denise Foster on the day. So it's something to keep a lookout for that, actually. Sneezy, as they call her for some unknown reason, Sneezy Foster. So I've decided to try and do what you did, Ronan, and pick an outsider in this. I've gone for Hollow Games, also around the 20-1 mark, I think.
Yep, 20-1 best price right across all you make. In fact, lowers after you firstly Sky Bet, Willie Hill, Bet 365. Sky Bet and Willie Hill 20-1, and then the rest of them 14-1.
Right, okay. I think Hollow Games, it's unbeaten. It's running some good races. The thing I was really impressed with on this one, though, was its the times it was clocking for its races. So, if you compare the price with that the current favourite Kilcruit, it's only ran. Its last race was only 1 second slower than that race everyone's been waxing lyrical about the last day for Kilcruit. Where, let's be honest, they went off a ridiculous pace anyway, and he picked up the pieces very nicely. Looked like a world beater, but I think it's been well documented how fast that race was run. Now, Sir Gerhard was up there all the way in his last race and was only a second slower, which shows to me he can actually travel at that extreme pace and stay. And it wouldn't be the first time, like you said before, that a big outsider's won this race. I think Fernie Hollow was about 12-1 last year when it won.
It's unbelievable looking back at that price.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? So, the more I've looked at this, the more I quite fancy it each way, Hollow Games. So 20-1, not putting anyone off that.
Nice, some brilliant prices.
I wouldn't put anyone off that either, to be fair. You made a good case for it. But yeah, so Grangy and Hollow Games, I think you'll not be far away.
Hey, what a forecast that is.
I was just about to say that, dear me, you'd be doing cartwheels, wouldn't you, if that was the forecast, dear me.
To be honest, the fave normally always gets placed. The fave's always there or thereabouts. It's just got a poor record for winning. And Mullins seems to farm the race, and he's probably got at least 4 in it again, I'd imagine. So I can understand why Ronan's gone for Grangy.
Great stuff, fellas. So a 20-1 and a 25-1 selections there. On to day 3. We're going to start at the 2:30, the Ryanair Chase.
Christ, see, I think this is probably the hardest race of the whole week to actually pick the winner out. Yeah. I think Allaho is the right favourite for the race of 5-1. I think the drop back and trip will suit. And quickly running through, I'm really disappointed with some of the trainers actually on some of the horses here. So St Calvados is a horse I really like for this race early doors, and he's been campaigned awfully, I think, this season. He stepped up for the King George, run him in that. Then they bottomed him out in that and then run him again, and he fell the last day. I just think they've got him all wrong this year. And if they could do it all again, they'd change the way they campaigned him, because he was finishing well last year in the race against, I think it was against Mim, was it last year in this race? Mim won this race last year, but pulled up in its last run. And I'm thinking, that can't be an ideal prep. Imperial Aura ran really well again in this race, and he unseated in its last run, but does love Cheltenham. Oh, sorry, it wasn't in this race. It was in a handicap, Imperial Aura last year. Does love Cheltenham, but unseating is a bad prep. Mellon doesn't look as good this year to me. Always seems to get placed at a festival, though, so you can almost put your mortgage on Mellon being in the top 4. I love Fakir Duderie as a horse, but I think this is coming a little bit early for it as a 6-year-old. So, aside from Allaho, I've landed on Mr. Fisher. I think he's a crack in each way, better 8-1. Gives us English something to cheer about. He loves Cheltenham, I think it's the right distance for him. He's improving. He was 4th in the Marsh last year, running a great race behind the likes of Sam Crow. I think Mr. Fisher probably overpriced at 8-1 in this because of the reputations of the other horses that haven't had a good prep. That's me. Ronan, over to you.
Fair enough. But yeah, I can see a lot of your points there. Allaho's too short for me, to be honest. I don't think he's even the best Mullins horse out of these. Out of the Mullins horses, I actually most like Mellon. I know his last run wasn't great, but reverted to hold-up tactics, which doesn't seem to work for Mellon. Mellon seems to get on best when it can just go out and enjoy itself, run from the front. It's an absolutely brilliant jumper, which obviously always helps at Cheltenham. Really should have beat Sam Crow last year in the JLT.
He just got done on the nod, didn't he, on that one?
I think if Paul Tynan could get that one back, that really broke his heart, I think. But yeah, I think Mellon's finished runner-up 4 times at the festival. That between champion hurdles and most recently over beginner chases, like that's unbelievable. I think Mellon, if they go back to the front-running tactics, which I'm sure they will, I think he can jump from the front and go out and be very impressive. Albeit if he's not in the front first or second come the last fence, I'd be very, very shocked. And it's just whether he can finally get his head in front this time and not get himself beat.
Do you think Townend's had ride him over Min?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That was an easy answer.
I think he's the younger horse. As you say, Min had a less than ideal prep the last time. Pulled up after hitting the fence really hard, landed on top of the fence. Mellon, I really like Mellon, and yeah, I could definitely see Townend taking the ride there. My other one was Fakir Didaris. I think it's another class act. Loves Cheltenham. For me, probably should have won Miracle last year. Cost himself his race at the second last with a.
It's a back that in the Arkle last year.
I was
absolutely distraught. Yeah,
yeah, I was screaming it in as it was coming up the hill, and I thought it was going to get there for a bit. But as I say, I think he lost his race on the second last. So with a clean round of jumping, I think Fakir's a massive price as well.
8-1 currently.
Yeah, I think that's a really good price, and I agree with Ian. To be honest, this is a really hard race to call. But I think at the current value, Mellon and Fakir Didaris would be my 2 against the field.
So Mellon and Fakir is currently 8-1, and Mr. Fisher 8-1 as well. So some good prices again. Yeah, really good, fellas, really good. The next race on day 3 is a 305 Stayers Hurdle.
Yeah, go on, Ronan.
This is another cracking race. It looked even better until Time Hill got pulled during the week, which is an absolute shame because he's currently 1-1 against Paisley Park, and this would have been some way to settle things. As far as the favourite goes, Paisley Park, love the horse. I think it's brilliant. I was there last year when it ran very underwhelmingly, but it came out later that it had a heart issue. My concern would be it's quite short in the betting at the minute, for the fact that we know it does have the possibility of its heart bothering it, and you're taking it with a bit of faith there that he's going to run to form. There's horses at bigger odds that I would actually prefer to back at the minute over Paisley, although Paisley might be the most likely winner. I think I would take my chances with some of the bigger odds. Sire de Burley has obviously got a lot of support recently, mainly because probably the withdrawal of Time Hill. I'd say he's now around second favourite.
Yeah, 9-2 second favourite.
Won the Pertomps the last 2 years in a row. Absolutely stunning performances, particularly last year, giving weight to the storyteller. And I think if you compared the Pertomps and this race, the Stayers last year, the Pertomps was actually running a quicker time over same course and distance. And people might say Sarah de Burley is just a handicapper, but he won a graded race at the start of this season, underwhelmed a bit over Christmas, but Sarah de Burley is a spring horse. It loves Cheltenham. The ground will suit. I think we'll see the biggest performance of the season from Sarah de Burley here on Thursday. And then at a bigger price, I think Fury Road's a good each way bet. Finished fourth or third, I think, in Albert Bartlett last year. Actually ahead of Time Hill, just in behind Monkfish and latest exhibition. And I saw 20s during the week, which was a crazy price. Since Time Hill's
it's coming a lot. Then it's about 12s now. Best about 12s, 11s. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say the Shrudy's got on at 20s, and it's now been its price collapsed a bit. But I know at 2 hasn't had the best prep, but it just seems very overpriced for me for what it's done, and it definitely likes Cheltenham. So Fury Road each way for me, but Sarah de Burley will be my main bet.
Nice. Now I know why you don't like going second. I'm all over Fury Road in this. So I was one of those Shrudies who picked up 20 during the week. I've been on the anti-post since before Christmas. Basically think it's been laid out for this race since it came third in the Albert Bartlett last year. You know, that form's ridiculous. And how this horse could be 20-1 when Time Hill was 3-1 just didn't make sense. I think a bit like Side of Burley, I think it's more of a spring horse and will come alive at Cheltenham. It looked like it loved the course and it loved the hill last year. It's going to be finishing strong. And actually, it was a lovely run. I think it was, where was it? It was about 3.5 weeks ago, I think it ran last. It was a nice step in the right direction because it had finished well behind Side of Burley and Flora and Porter. I think its first run back of the year. And I looked at it, I was really disappointed with that. So I was really glad to see it get back on track over a distance too short for it in its last run. I think your right Side of Burley's easily got the beating of the storyteller. I think I can see it reversing form with Flora and Porter. There are. I mean, Flora and Porter has got its plus points. You know, it hasn't done anything wrong this year. It's just whether it's up to this class or not.
It's not for me personally. That I think it got a bit of a cheap lead over Christmas.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. That's why I've sided against it. But again, it's one of these races that does throw up a big price winner. You know, you're never backing Liz Oscar to win this race, no. but it did. Do you know what I mean? There's a few that have won this race where you're thinking, why? I don't quite get it. So that's why I think Fury Road is such a big price. The other one that's worth having a look that you didn't mention is probably Vindication. If it runs in this, its mark over chasers, over fences has gone up considerably, and it's been running in some cracking races. There also big champ over hurdles in its brief spell over hurdles a few years back. So there was no back number there. If you look at its chase mark, it's rated second only to Paisley Park. And I just thought it was interesting if it follows the same route that Big Bucks did a few years back when it reverted back after the fall. Vindication unseated, I think, in its last run over fences. And it's interesting that it's still in the market. It's still 8-1. Just something to keep an eye on that I thought might be interesting. But Fury Road each way to me. I think it's a great bet.
Lovely. Great stuff, fellas. A nice agreeing there on a nice 12-1. That'd be good if they came in leading you onto day 4, Gold Cup day, which we will preview in a the first race of the day on day 4, the 120, the Triumph Hurdle.
Great race. Go on, Ronan.
I'm siding with this is a big Ireland version of England race. We've got Zanahiyr against Calixios against the English. What was English?
Tritonic.
Sorry, this slipped my mind. But yeah, I'm siding with the Irish horses here, and I think Zanahiyr is a class above. To be honest, Tritonic was a great flat horse, and he's improved massively over hurdles. But I just don't think his jumping's up to par. Whereas Zanahiyr's blown all away before him this year. His jumping seems fantastic. He seems so slick over his hurdles. I think Zanahiyr is one of the standout bets of the week, and I still think it looks a great price.
Currently 7-4.
I'm going to keep this dead easy. I agree. I think Zanahiyr has been really impressive. I think he's beaten the right horses. It worries me a little bit. He's been off the track since before Christmas. Where the others have had a run. I think Tritonic, I don't think Cheltenham will suit him. I don't think that the nature of the race will suit him. You couldn't fail to be impressed with him, but on very, very fast tracks. I think he did improve from his first race to his second. Quite clearly his jumping improved. Like Zanahiyr, I think probably a bit of a shout out to Adagio for David Pipe, simply because it's run a couple of races at Cheltenham as well, so it's got course form, and at 10-1, I wouldn't be surprised again to see. Well, certainly from a first four places point of view, Adagio at 10-1 is probably a great bet, but I like Zanahiyr.
Yeah,
brilliant stuff. That's both agreeing on the 7-4 favourite there in the first one, and we couldn't have a Cheltenham preview without having a look at the main race, day 4, of course, the Gold Cup, 305 Cheltenham, the Gold Cup.
Go ahead, Ian.
Thanks. Tricky one again, isn't it? I mean, it's one of those races, the Gold Cup this year, which is probably the most open Gold Cup I've known for a while. And you go down the list, and right down to horses that are at 33 to lost in translations, 33-1. You've got Santini at 12-1, I think it is. You've got Native River at about 14-1. Kenboy at 14-1. Minella Indo, who I think he was market leading straight after the festival for this last year. He was the anti-post favourite. Proved that he can't jump in its last few runs. That's 11-1. If any of them were to win, I don't think anyone would be surprised. Yeah. You know, it's not going to be a complete turn-up for the Bucks. Looking at the top of the market, at Plutard, I know we finished well its last race. I'm not entirely sure 3 mile 2 at Cheltenham's going to suit it, to be honest. It won a good race 2 years ago at Cheltenham at big odds, and then it ran well last year, but it got outstayed up the hill. I can't see that staying 3 mile 2. Just can't have it. Not with some of the other proven stayers in the race. And this is going to be run at a ridiculous pace. With Frodon and Native River both in the race, this is going to be one of the fastest run Gold Cups for quite a while, I'd suggest, especially if the ground stays as it's going to be. Really impressed with Champ the last day. Didn't see that coming over 2 miles. I think it was a mistake second last or last. Other than that, I mean, he could have made a massive turn up for the Bucks and actually won that 2 miler. It's been a tough season for the Hendersons. This is, they're looking to turn this around. But Nico's defo got the ride on this, hasn't he? He's already talked about that. That puts me off him a little bit. I won't lie. News today that Royal Pagaille is going to go for this race. I don't know what I'll feel about that. I think I would have preferred him to go for the 4 miler this year and then go for the Gold Cup next year. But I got undone, ironically, by one. I can't remember what the juvenile was, the 7-year-old with Nico de Boinville on it a few years back that won the Gold Cup. I couldn't see that winning either.
Connie Gray, was it?
Yeah, Connie Gray. Yeah, I didn't see that one winning this year. Can't see Frodon winning. Too much of a fairy tale. I love Album Photo. I think he's had a perfect prep. I was on a a nice big bet last year to win last year's Gold Cup and this year's Gold Cup at 25-1. So I'm currently sitting on Alboon Photo at 25-1, and I'm not going to change my mind, to be honest, because I think there's too many question marks over all of the others. And it's a horse the public haven't really taken to. I think because it just doesn't run that often. So you don't see it as much. So it's Alboon Photo for me. Mainly talking with me pocket as well there.
Currently, best price at 5-2.
I reckon that'll go bigger on the day.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I think the money will come for Royal Pagaia, it'll come for Frodon because Bryony's on it. It'll come for Champ because it's Champ. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see Champ go off favourite. I can just see the money piling in for that one. So yeah, that's me.
Brilliant. Ronan?
For me, Champ, it ran a brilliant race the last day over 2 miles, but is that really a prep for the Gold Cup? We haven't seen him run over the distance this year at all. He's got a kind of a Presenting Percy from a few years ago kind of profile.
Yeah, it has, yeah.
And that didn't work out the best for Presenting Percy, unfortunately. Champ didn't jump well enough last year in the RSA. If he jumps like that in the Gold Cup, he'll be beat after a circuit. So yeah, it's not Champ for me, unfortunately. And again, Nico, I wouldn't have the most faith in him. I can't have Santini either. I know he ran a big race last year, but I think this year's race is 10 times the race, to be honest. And if he was ever going to win one, last year was his race to win because it was run in a slow way that might have suited him, whereas it didn't suit the likes of Alboon, but he was still able to get up. So yeah, I would rule out Santini. Royal Pagaia is an interesting one. Again, I tend to agree with you. It might be a year too early for him, but the Richies are going to have Monkfish next year, so they probably thought we might as well give it a go.
That's a good point, yeah.
But I would have been all over him in the National Hunt Chase. I've been on Galvin for quite a while. That was actually breaking my heart, thinking that he was going to go on into that because I think he would have won easily.
But by the way, I think Galvin is a great bet in the 4 miler on day one now.
For sure. Yeah. But yeah, I think this might come a bit too soon for him. He's won over flat tracks at Kempton. I'm just not sure if 3 mile 2 around Cheltenham in a Gold Cup will suit him.
He hasn't really beaten anything either, has he, Roman? You know, no. He hasn't come up against any proper good horses yet.
Yeah, mostly handicappers.
Exactly.
So this is a big step up in class. Absolute Tired. I really liked him last year for the Ryanair. After he won the race Imperial Aura won last year, the Close Brothers novice race. Stepped up into graded company last year and just couldn't get past the likes of St. Calvados and Man. And I think that was due to him not really staying it. And again, 3 mile 2 up the hill. I can't. I've got my serious stamina doubts about him. He was impressive at Leopardstown, but I don't think this is a race for him. Frodon, I think Native River in the race actually will make Frodon not as effective as usual. I can't see Frodon getting a lead. I think Native River will go out and get the lead, and that'll kill Frodon's chances, to be honest. Frodon really needs to...
He's thrown the towel in a few times, Frodon, and he doesn't get an easy lead, doesn't he?
He tends to huff if he doesn't get an easy lead, and Native River just won't give him that. I think Native River's a cracking each way price. He's not my main selection, but he's definitely a cracking each way price. Been there, done that. That would be another amazing story for him to come back and regain a Gold Cup. He's done nothing wrong all season, and the race that he lost 2 races back, he lost because they ran for the last mile where it was low sun and they took out the fences. And
I was there.
It was a glorified flat race.
Yeah. I was there at Aintree, and mate, he was jumping like an absolute stag. In fact, Chris, you may remember the race after that, we tipped Native River up and it won 7-1.
Yeah, definitely.
At Sandown. And it was because of that race at Aintree, when I seen how fit and how well he was jumping, I knew he was back.
I honestly think, I know his age doesn't really suit the profile of a Gold Cup winner, but I agree with you. I think he's fully back to his best. And I think he'll not be far away at all.
Currently 14-1 Native River.
Yeah, so that'll be my each way bet. But my I don't know whether it's Irish coming out of me again. The romantic three-timer to come up with best mate. I'm all about album photo. I've been on him the last 2 years. 2 years ago, he won a Fastly run race, very impressively. He pulled away from the field quite easily. Last year, it was a race that didn't really suit him. As I said, it was run very slowly. He was left in front about maybe 2 or 3 out, which he would not have wanted to be, but he still managed to get the job done. He's been there. He's done that. I've got my doubts about a lot of the rest in the betting. I just think album photo. I would agree with Ian. I would wait to the day. I could see him going off maybe around 130 mark or so. I think that's what he went off last year, around that, or 72. I think album photo's a brilliant bet, but I definitely would hold off until the day. But
not why you've both tipped it on this. You know what our following's like. They'll make the price come in now. You know what I mean? It'll be even money on the day now because of the following on this show. Brilliant, Phil. So you're both in agreement there for album photo at 5-2, and maybe have a little look at Native River each way price at 14-1 might give you a good run for your money. And then that, lads, we'll be retired for next year anyway. We'll be in the hospitality at Cheltenham next year. And
don't worry, mate. We'll still do the podcast for you.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. No, I'll be with you. I'm backing all these. Yeah, the way you bigged them up. So some great analysis, great selections there, fellas. You've not gone for easy selections of picking the favourites in every race. There's some great prices at 20-1, 25, 12-1, both agreeing on Fury Road there on day 3. Gold Cup 5-2 favourite, but you'll take a winner any day of the week, won't you? It doesn't matter what price it is if you've got a few quid in it. As usual, please only bet. It is a bit of fun. Only bet what you can afford. Lads, fantastic analysis there. We're on just over an hour, so we've wrapped up the 4 days in just over an hour. So fingers crossed. Let's have a great festival for everyone. Enjoy your week, and thanks very much, gents.
Cheers, Chris. Cheers,
thanks very much, Chris.
Care.
Cheers,
see you soon.
All the best,
Bye-bye.
man. Hopefully we smash it.
Hopefully, mate. Yeah, see you soon.
On the boom.